Welcome to your deep dive into Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money.
Yeah.
You've got the book, maybe some articles too,
Hmm.
and we're here to really extract all that golden financial wisdom, right?
Absolutely.
And this is a big beauty. This isn't just another how to get rich kind of thing. This is
Yeah.
about getting inside your head, right? Because that's where the real magic with money happens, I think.
That's what's so cool about Housel's approach
Yeah.
is, he's not just throwing out financial advice.
Right.
He's really digging into the human side of things, those often irrational ways that we think about money.
Yeah, like the psychology.
Yeah, the psychology of it,
Yeah, totally.
which is so relatable.
Yeah.
It's like he's holding up a mirror to our financial souls, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the first things he makes us see is that no one's crazy when it comes to their money decisions.
It's so easy to judge, though.
Oh, no.
You see someone making what you think is just like a terrible financial choice. And you're like, what are they thinking?
What is going on?
Yeah.
But Housel encourages us to take a step back and consider why, right?
Right.
Why are they making that decision?
Okay, so let's unpack this why a bit.
Sure.
You're saying that our past experiences, let's say witnessing our parents struggle financially,
Right.
that actually becomes part of our financial DNA.
Exactly. It creates what we call money scripts.
Okay.
Those are the often subconscious beliefs and attitudes that drive our decisions around money.
Okay, so it's almost like a program running in the background that we don't even realize is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So someone who grew up in a recession might be super vigilant about saving,
Right.
even if they're doing well financially now.
Right, because they've got that memory.
Yeah, they've got that.
Right.
Whereas someone who saw their parents easily accumulate wealth
Yeah,
might be more comfortable taking risks.
because they saw it modeled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. So instead of judging others, we should try to understand their stories.
Their background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess also examine our own money scripts.
For sure.
What are those hidden beliefs that might be holding us back, right?
Right.
That's pretty deep.
It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating empathy,
Yeah,
not just in our personal lives, but in our financial lives too.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one's crazy. That's the first big takeaway here.
Definitely.
What else does Housel, what else does he really help us understand about, our relationship with money?
Well, he really digs into this idea that financial success is all about intelligence or hard work, right?
Mm-hmm.
He reminds us that luck and risk play a huge role.
Luck and risk.
Yeah, two people can make similar investments, work equally hard,
All right.
but totally unforeseen events
Mm-hmm.
can lead to completely different outcomes.
It's no matter how good you are at planning, life can always throw some curveballs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And recognizing this isn't about being pessimistic or
Right.
giving up.
Yeah.
It's about being prepared for uncertainty
Mhm.
and avoiding overconfidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Building resilience.
So things having an emergency fund,
Right.
diversifying our investments,
Right.
maybe even disability insurance.
Yeah.
These aren't just oh, those are nice to have. It's
Yeah.
actually essential parts of a good financial plan.
They're essential. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we've got no one's crazy.
Right.
We've got luck and risk.
Mm-hmm.
What else should we be thinking about when it comes to this whole psychology of money thing?
Well, Housel really digs into this feeling of never enough.
Never enough.
Yeah, it's this idea that no matter how much money we have, it's never quite enough, right?
Oh, yeah.
We always want more, always chasing that next milestone.
Yeah, you get there and then you're okay, now what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can just become this endless cycle of dissatisfaction.
It's it's like a financial treadmill. You're just constantly running.
Running and running.
And you're not really getting anywhere.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And Housel argues that true happiness, true fulfillment doesn't come from just accumulating more and more wealth.
Right.
It comes from contentment,
Yeah.
appreciating what we have, aligning our financial goals with our deeper values.
So it's not about denying yourself nice things or, living like a monk or anything.
Right.
But it's about finding that sweet spot where you're financially secure,
Yeah.
but also emotionally fulfilled too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
He tells this really interesting story about a successful fisherman who was totally content with his simple life,
Mm-hmm.
right? He had enough,
Yeah.
but everyone kept pushing him to want more, to strive for greater wealth and status. And it's like,
It's never enough for other people.
yeah. But it's a good reminder that wealth is relative.
It's totally subjective.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
feels like enough to one person might be like wildly insufficient to another.
Right. Totally depends on your perspective and your values.
Your values, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And that's where Housel's idea of freedom comes in.
Freedom. Okay.
It's not just about like having a big bank account. It's about having the security to live life on your own terms.
So like you're not beholden to
Exactly.
a job you hate or anything like that.
So he defines wealth as like the ability to control your time and make choices without being like limited by finances.
You're not stressed about money.
You're not stressed. Yeah.
Okay.
It's about like having the flexibility to like spend time with loved ones, pursue your passions, travel, take career risks.
Do all the things that like truly matter to you.
Exactly. Whatever brings you joy and meaning.
Yeah. So instead of asking like, how much can I earn? Maybe the better question is like, how can I design a life that I love?
Yes.
And like, how can I use money as a tool to like achieve that vision?
Yeah. That's a great way to reframe it. It's
Yeah.
about like aligning your financial goals with your values, your passions, your aspirations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about no one's crazy, luck and risk, never enough, and freedom.
Those are big ones.
Those are like big, powerful concepts.
Yeah.
But like, how do we actually translate these like into action?
Right.
What are some practical things that our listeners can do, like starting today, to really master this whole psychology of money thing?
One of the most important things is to really like embrace long-term thinking.
Long-term thinking. Okay.
Yeah, it's about shifting our mindset from like instant gratification to delayed gratification.
Right.
From chasing quick wins to building like lasting wealth.
So instead of falling for like all those get-rich-quick schemes,
Right, exactly.
which never really work.
Never really worked.
It's about like focusing on those slow and steady habits that, create real financial security over time.
Exactly.
It's like the tortoise and the hare, right?
Yes.
Slow and steady wins the race.
The tortoise wins because of its consistency,
Consistency, yeah.
perseverance.
Okay, so yeah, long-term thinking is key.
It's key.
What else can we do to like put these psychological principles into action?
Well, remember how we talked about everyone having those like hidden money scripts?
Mm-hmm.
The next step is to like really become aware of our own biases.
Okay.
Because we all have them.
Right.
Whether it's like overconfidence or loss aversion or like even just following the crowd.
Oh yeah, it's easy to get caught up in like what everyone else is doing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about like shining a light on those subconscious beliefs and patterns that are like driving our financial decisions.
It sounds hard though.
Can be tricky.
Like how do we actually do that? It seems kind of like abstract,
Yeah. Well, Housel gives us some like really useful tools and exercises in the book
Okay.
that help us uncover those hidden biases.
Okay.
It involves asking ourselves like tough questions, reflecting on our past financial experiences,
Right.
and maybe even like talking to a therapist or financial advisor to get an outside perspective.
So sometimes you need like that external support.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, to help you see what you can't see yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, and then once you start to understand your biases,
Right.
then you can develop strategies for like counteracting them.
For sure.
So it's like we're all becoming financial therapists for ourselves.
A little bit. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got long-term thinking, we've got understanding our biases. What else can we do to like really harness the power of this book, of the psychology of money?
Well, Housel really emphasizes the importance of focusing on what we can control, right?
Okay.
Because there are so many things in the financial world that are outside our control.
Yeah, like the markets.
The markets, the economy, interest rates.
Yeah.
But there are things that we do have complete control over.
Like our spending habits,
Exactly.
our savings rate, our investment choices.
All of that.
Yeah, like that's all within our sphere of influence.
Exactly.
Okay.
And prioritizing these actions, even when things feel like uncertain or chaotic in the world,
Yeah.
can really give us like a sense of agency
Okay.
and empower us to build a more secure future.
So it's about like taking ownership
Yeah.
of your financial life
Owning it.
rather than feeling like you're just like at the mercy whatever's happening.
Of outside forces.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where it gets interesting, I think.
Okay.
Housel says that valuing savings over income is crucial.
Yeah, he really emphasizes that.
And he says it's the foundation of wealth no matter how much you earn.
Yeah, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.
How much you keep. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he uses the example of someone who earns like a high income.
Right. But spends it all.
Yeah.
They might look wealthy.
Yeah, on the surface.
On the surface.
Right.
But they're living on the edge.
Right.
In contrast, someone with a modest income,
right,
but a high savings rate is building real wealth.
Over time, yeah.
Over time, that's the key.
It's all about building that cushion, I think.
That cushion, that security.
Yeah, like that sense of security allows you to make choices from a position of strength.
Exactly. You're not scrambling.
Yeah, you're not desperate.
Yeah, you're not in a panic.
Right, exactly.
You have options.
Options. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and finally, tailor your financial strategy to your personal goals, right?
Okay.
This means, aligning your financial plan with your unique life vision.
So you've got to define what truly matters to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then craft a roadmap that supports those dreams.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're taking all these psychological insights and we're actually, turning them into an actual plan. Yeah, you got to, and that's where the psychology of money really shines. It's not just about the numbers, it's about understanding yourself.
Yeah, aligning your decisions with what you actually value.
Your values, your goals.
Your goals, yeah, your vision for the future.
Your vision for the future, absolutely.
Okay, this is amazing stuff.
It's good stuff.
But I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
Oh, we are.
There's so much more to explore.
So much more.
Yeah.
The psychology of money goes even deeper.
Okay.
There are more advanced tactics that can really help you level up your financial game.
Okay, so part two.
Part two.
We get you to know.
We're going deeper. So
yeah.
Stay tuned.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back. And I'm ready to go even deeper into this whole psychology of money thing.
Yeah, we're going to level up our financial game.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so we've covered some of those core psychological principles, but now it's time for those advanced tactics. The stuff that really helps us master this stuff.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Hit me with it.
All right, so one of the most valuable things is what Housel calls behavioral flexibility.
Behavioral flexibility.
Yeah, and it's really about recognizing that the financial landscape is always changing.
Right.
Just like everything else in the world.
Yeah, totally.
So if you just cling to a static plan, it can really backfire.
So it's not set it and forget it.
Not really, no.
Okay, so we have to be ready to adapt.
Yeah.
Adjust our strategies, kind of like navigating a ship, right?
Yes.
You've got to be ready to adjust the sails,
Exactly, based on the winds and currents.
The currents, the tides, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so continuous learning is key.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just read one book, take one course, you're good.
Yeah.
You've got to stay curious.
Yeah.
Keep expanding that knowledge.
Make it a habit, yeah. Reading financial news, attending workshops, webinars, even talking to financial advisors to get those different perspectives.
Okay, yeah, so just constant learning.
Constant learning. The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to make good decisions.
Right. Okay.
And Housel also talks about scenario planning.
Scenario planning, okay.
Have you heard of this?
I've heard the term.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically thinking through those what-if situations, right?
Okay.
Having a game plan for different possibilities.
Okay, so what if the market crashes?
Exactly.
What if I lose my job?
Yeah. What if inflation goes crazy?
Yeah.
Running through these scenarios in advance can really reduce your anxiety.
Right. So you're prepared.
Yeah.
Not freaking out.
Yeah. Paralyzed.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps you make more rational decisions when those stressful moments happen, because they will happen.
Because they will happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like having a secret weapon,
It's like a backup plan.
Yeah, like a backup plan.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
And all this talk about preparation and flexibility, it leads us to another important tactic. Emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation. Okay, that sounds tough.
It can be.
Because we're all emotional beings.
We are. Yeah.
It's I've definitely made some impulsive financial decisions in the past.
Oh, hey, me too.
When I'm feeling fearful or excited or even greedy.
That FOMO gets you.
The FOMO, yeah, exactly.
That gets us all.
Yeah, those emotions can really cloud your judgment.
They do.
Okay, so how do we regulate those emotions, especially when it comes to money, which is such an emotionally charged topic?
Well, Housel suggests things like mindfulness practices like meditation or deep breathing.
Okay, so just like taking a moment.
Taking a moment to center yourself.
Yeah.
So that instead of reacting emotionally, you can respond thoughtfully from a place of calm.
Okay, so it's like taking that pause.
Taking that pause, exactly.
Yeah.
Like before you hit buy on that online shopping spree or before you make that like big investment.
Right, or sell everything because you think the market's going to crash.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like breathe.
Breathe, check in with yourself, make sure you're not being driven by like fear or greed.
Right, okay, I like that.
And you can also set clear rules for yourself.
Rules, okay.
Yeah, like decide in advance, I'm never going to invest more than this percentage of my portfolio in any one stock.
Okay.
No matter how tempting it seems.
Right, so you have those boundaries.
Yeah, you have the boundary
in place ahead of time.
Yeah, to avoid those like, emotional decisions that you might regret later.
It's like having those guardrails on a winding mountain road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It keeps you on track.
Keeps you from going off the cliff.
Yes, keeps you from going off the cliff.
All right, good analogy.
And this leads to another strategy. Diversifying beyond investments.
Okay, now I thought diversification was all about like spreading your money across different asset classes like stocks, bonds, real estate, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the classic definition.
Right.
But Housel says, think broader than that.
Okay, how so?
Diversify your income streams, your skills, even your experiences.
So like having a side hustle,
Yeah, side hustle.
learning new skills.
That can lead to like career advancement or even just exploring new hobbies.
So it's like, it's not just about, your investment portfolio.
Right.
It's about like your whole life.
It's about your whole life, creating that more resilient like life infrastructure so you're not relying on just one thing.
It's like having multiple backup generators.
Exactly.
If one fails, you've got the others to keep the lights on.
Exactly, you got it.
Okay, I like that. It's about having options.
It's options. Yeah.
And it kind of ties back into that long-term vision, but also like that short-term discipline.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Having that clear picture of where you want to go and then taking those like daily actions to move towards it.
Because it's not enough to just like, have the dreams.
You got to do the work.
You got to do the work, yeah.
He's a big believer in having that compelling vision and then backing it up with action.
Okay, so like maybe create a vision board.
Yeah, a vision board.
Like all your goals and dreams on it.
Yeah, or like write a detailed plan, like how you're going to achieve those goals.
Okay, so just having something tangible.
Something tangible to remind you.
To keep you motivated.
Keep you on track.
Yeah, okay. And then like break those big goals down into smaller steps.
Smaller steps, exactly.
So you're not overwhelmed.
Not overwhelmed, you get that momentum.
A little wins.
Little wins, yeah.
Okay.
And it all adds up over time.
That's right. The tortoise and the hare.
The tortoise and the hare.
Okay.
Slow and steady, especially when it comes to building wealth.
Okay. And speaking of slow and steady.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Compounding.
Compounding, yes. The eighth wonder of the world.
He calls it that, right?
He does. And for good reason.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost magical, you know?
Magical.
Like your money's earning interest and then that interest earns interest.
And so on and so on.
Yeah. But my brain, like, sometimes struggles to really grasp it.
I know. It's hard to visualize.
Can you give me, like, an example of how it actually works?
Sure. So imagine you plant a tiny seed in the ground.
Okay.
At first, nothing seems to be happening.
Right.
But beneath the surface, that seed is growing roots, getting ready to sprout.
Okay.
Compounding is kind of like that.
Okay.
Takes time.
Okay.
But eventually, that tiny seed becomes a mighty oak tree.
Okay, so even small, consistent investments.
Yes.
Like that seed.
Can grow into something huge.
Over time.
Over time, that's the key.
Okay, and the earlier you start,
The better.
the more time that magic has to work.
Exactly. Time is your greatest ally when it comes to compounding.
Okay, so it's like that quote, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And Housel also points out that compounding applies to more than just investing.
Okay.
It's like learning new skills, building relationships, even improving your health.
So it's like, it's kind of a universal principle for growth.
It is. It is.
Okay, I like that.
It's about those small, consistent actions you take each day.
That add up over time.
They add up.
Yeah.
Just got to trust the process.
Trust the process. Okay, cool.
So we've covered behavioral flexibility, emotional regulation, diversifying beyond investments, long-term vision, short-term discipline, compounding.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Is there anything else?
Well, I think one thing we haven't talked about is risk.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
risk management.
Because everyone's got a different, like, tolerance for risk, right?
Exactly. And there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. So how do we figure out our own personal risk tolerance? It seems kind of, like, fuzzy. you know?
It depends on a lot of factors like your age, your goals, your personality, even your life experiences.
Okay, so someone who's young and saving for retirement, way down the road might be more comfortable with risk.
Yeah, they have more time to recover if things go wrong.
Right, whereas someone who's like closer to retirement
Might be more conservative.
yeah, because they don't have as much time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so are there tools or resources to help people figure this out?
Oh, for sure. There are like online questionnaires, risk tolerance calculators,
Okay.
and of course, talking to a financial advisor can be super helpful.
Right, they can guide you through the process.
Yeah, and create a plan that really aligns with your needs.
Your needs, your goals, your risk tolerance.
Exactly. It's all about personalization.
Okay, so it's about knowing your limit
Knowing your limits. Yeah.
and not taking on more risk than you can handle.
Right. Whether that's like emotionally or financially.
Yeah, you don't want to be losing sleep over your investments.
Exactly. No sleepless nights over money.
Okay, good advice.
And this ties into the whole world of behavioral economics, which plays a big role in the book.
Now, I've heard that term behavioral economics, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Okay, yeah, so traditional economics kind of assumes that humans are perfectly rational, making decisions based on pure logic.
Right.
But behavioral economics recognizes that we're way more complex than that.
Way more messy.
Way more messy. Our emotions, our biases, those mental shortcuts we take.
It all comes into play.
It all comes into play, yeah.
So we're not those perfectly rational economic machines.
We're not, no.
Okay, good to know.
We make emotional purchases.
Yes, we do.
We fall for marketing tricks.
Oh,
We
yeah.
get caught up in those financial bubbles.
It happens.
It happens.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're not always making those perfectly rational decisions.
So how does understanding this, how does that help us manage our money better? It seems like if we're inherently irrational, are we just doomed?
Well, not doomed, but it definitely makes things more challenging.
Yeah.
But the first step is recognizing those biases,
Yeah.
right? Once you're aware of them, you can start to develop strategies to counteract them.
Can you give me a concrete example? What kind of bias are we talking about?
Sure, think about that tendency to buy something just because it's on sale,
Oh, yeah.
even if you don't really need it.
I do that all the time.
It's called the anchoring bias.
Anchoring bias.
We get so focused on that original price.
Right, oh, it was this much, but now it's this much.
Exactly.
It's like a deal.
It feels like a deal,
Yeah.
even if it's still more than you'd normally pay, or even if you don't need it at all.
Right, right.
So recognizing that bias is the first step.
Okay, so then what? How do we actually change those behaviors?
Well, Housel talks about something called nudge theory.
Nudge theory, okay.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
Is it when, my mom used to nudge me to eat my vegetables?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's about making small changes in our environment
Okay.
or in the way choices are presented to us
Okay.
to encourage better decisions without restricting our freedom.
So we're not forcing anything.
We're not forcing anything.
We're just kind of gently nudging.
Gently nudging. Think about those retirement savings plans.
Okay.
Some companies automatically enroll their employees,
Okay.
but they give them the option to opt out.
Right.
And this actually increases participation rates significantly.
Really?
Yeah, because people are more likely to just stick with the default option.
Okay, so it's about making the desired behavior the easiest path.
Exactly. It's like removing those obstacles
Okay.
and making it effortless to do the right thing.
Right. Okay, I like that.
It can be applied to all sorts of financial decisions, like, automatic transfers to your savings account each month.
Yeah.
So you're less tempted to spend that money.
Right. Or unsubscribe from those tempting email newsletters.
Oh, yeah.
That make you want to buy stuff you don't need.
Yes, exactly. All those little nudges.
It's like automating good habits
It is.
and building systems to support your goals.
You got it.
Okay, I love that.
And speaking of automation, Housel's also a big fan of using technology to manage our money.
Okay, so things like budgeting apps, investment trackers,
Yeah, all of that.
even robo-advisors.
Robo-advisors. Yeah, those could be great for, beginners.
Right, it takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly. They create those automated portfolios for you.
Right, okay.
They can free up your mental bandwidth, simplify your life.
You're not constantly checking the markets and stressing.
Right, and it helps you make more, data-driven decisions.
Objective decision.
Yeah, based on data.
Okay, cool. And I think one of the most interesting things about this whole book is that it recognizes that sometimes, the biggest barriers to financial success aren't external, they're internal.
They're in our heads.
They're in our heads, yeah, like our own beliefs and self-perceptions.
Yeah, like that whole I'm bad with money thing.
Exactly. And Housel dedicates a whole chapter to this, which I think is super important.
It is. He argues that we often have these limiting beliefs about our ability to manage money.
And those beliefs can become self-fulfilling prophecies.
They totally can.
It's like, if you believe you're bad with money, you're more likely to make bad decisions.
Exactly. It becomes this vicious cycle.
Right.
But the good news is we can change those beliefs.
Okay.
We can rewrite those money scripts.
Yeah.
Step into a more empowered relationship with money.
Okay. I like that.
He calls it shifting our self-perception.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we go from feeling like we're bad with money to actually believing we can achieve our financial goals?
Well, one thing he suggests is to start by consciously adopting the identity of a saver or an investor.
Okay, so like fake it till you make it.
It's a bit more than that.
Okay.
It's about choosing to view yourself as someone who values financial responsibility.
Okay.
And makes smart choices.
So like tell yourself, I am a saver. I am a savvy investor.
Yeah. Affirmations, even if it feels weird at first.
Right.
And then like back it up with actions.
Okay.
Set up that automatic savings plan. Track your spending. Start investing.
So take those steps.
Take those steps, yeah. And it helps you embody that new identity.
So it's like you're creating that positive feedback loop.
You got it.
Right.
You start acting like a saver,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start believing it.
Yeah.
And then you take more action, which leads to positive results,
Yeah.
which further reinforces that positive self-image.
It's like this upward spiral.
An upward spiral, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And along the way, challenge those limiting beliefs.
So instead of saying, I'll never be able to buy a house,
Right.
maybe say, I'm learning how to save and invest so I can achieve my goal of homeownership.
That's a perfect example.
Okay, cool.
It's about shifting from that like fixed mindset
Right.
to a growth mindset.
Yeah, where you believe you can actually like learn and grow.
Learn and grow, achieve anything.
Yeah, I like that. It's inspiring.
It is.
And Housel also talks about building resilience.
Yes, resilience.
Because there will be setbacks, you know.
Oh, for sure. We're all human.
Yeah, we make mistakes.
We make mistakes. Life happens.
Yeah.
Unexpected expenses, market downturns.
Just
True.
job loss, all those things.
It can happen to anyone.
Right.
And it can feel really discouraging.
Yeah, you feel like giving up.
Yeah, if you feel like, what's the point?
Okay, so how do we build that resilience?
Well, Housel suggests things like stress management techniques, like mindfulness, meditation, spending time in nature.
Okay, so like taking care of yourself.
Taking care of yourself, yeah, mentally, emotionally.
That's all connected, right?
It's all connected, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, positive self-talk.
So instead of beating yourself up over a mistake.
Yeah, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
View it as a learning opportunity.
Okay. What can I learn from this?
What can I learn from this?
How can I do it differently next time?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so be kind to yourself. That's good advice.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but I feel like there's still more to unpack.
There is.
Like all those common challenges that people face.
The everyday struggles.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on those yet.
We haven't, but thankfully, House will provide solutions for those too.
Okay, good.
So we'll dive into those in part 3.
Okay, I'm ready for part 3.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into the psychology of money.
Yeah, it's time to tackle those everyday financial challenges.
Yes, those common, like, stumbling blocks,
Yeah.
even when we're trying to do the right thing, right?
Exactly. Those things that trip us up.
Yeah, and what I like about Housel's approach is that he doesn't just point out the problems.
Right.
He actually gives you solutions.
Yeah, practical solutions.
Okay, so let's start with one that I think, like, a lot of people struggle with, battling those financial myths.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much misinformation out there, like, it's hard to know what to believe.
It's overwhelming.
It really is, and sometimes these myths are so deeply ingrained
Yeah.
that we don't even realize they're myths.
We just accept them as truth.
But that whole myth of the self-made millionaire, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
That, like, anyone can achieve financial success if they just work hard enough, have the right mindset.
Yeah, the pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality.
Exactly, but Housel, like, he debunks this pretty effectively.
Yeah, he points out that it ignores all those other factors that play a role.
Like luck,
Luck, timing, privilege.
your background, your upbringing.
Yeah, socioeconomic background, even just like the support of others.
Right, it's not all about just, like, grit and determination.
It's more complex than
but
that.
more nuanced, yeah.
It sets up these like unrealistic expectations for people.
And it can make people feel like failures if they haven't reached a certain level of wealth.
Yeah, like there's something wrong with them.
Right, but it's not a fair comparison.
Not at all.
Everyone's journey is different.
Exactly. And it's important to be really critical of the financial advice we get.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Just because someone is wealthy doesn't make them an expert.
Right, right.
Do your own research, understand the basic principles, and then make choices that align with your values.
With your own situation.
With your own situation.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And another big challenge is that pull towards instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
We live in a world of buy now, pay later.
Everything is so, tempting.
So tempting. It's designed to be that way.
It's hard to resist.
It is, especially with all the advertising and social media.
Oh my gosh, yeah, constantly bombarded.
Showing you all the things you could have right now.
But then we end up sacrificing those long-term goals.
Exactly, the things that really matter.
Yeah, like saving for retirement or, buying a house or starting that business you've always dreamed of.
Yeah, all those big dreams get put on hold.
Because we're too busy buying, lattes and gadgets.
Exactly, so what can we do?
Yeah, how do we resist that urge?
Well, Housel suggests implementing strategies that encourage delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah, like waiting a week or a month before making a big purchase.
Oh, so give yourself that cooling off period.
Yeah, to see if you still really want it.
That's a good idea.
It helps you distinguish between wants and needs.
Right.
And then you can decide if that purchase really aligns with your goals.
And I remember Housel talking about temptation bundling.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one.
Pairing something you enjoy with something you need to do but tend to put off.
Exactly. It's like a little trick for your brain.
Yeah, only allowing yourself to watch your favorite show while you're working out.
Yeah, or listen to a podcast while you're doing chores.
Okay, that's a good idea. I like that.
It makes those less enjoyable tasks a little bit more bearable.
Yeah, and speaking of things that aren't always enjoyable, let's talk about debt.
Debt. Yeah, that's a big one.
A lot of people struggle with that.
It's a major source of stress.
And it's easy to feel like it's just a normal part of life.
Yeah, everyone has debt, so it's okay.
Especially with student loans, credit cards, mortgages.
It's everywhere.
It really is.
But Housel emphasizes that carrying too much debt can really hold you back.
It's like a weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, it makes it so much harder to achieve those financial goals.
And it's not just the financial burden, it's the emotional toll, too.
Absolutely. The constant worry, the sleepless nights, it can really affect your well-being.
Okay, so how do we get out from under that weight? How do we effectively manage and, ultimately eliminate debt?
Housel recommends developing a structured repayment plan, something that feels manageable and motivating.
I've heard about the snowball method and the avalanche method.
Yeah, those are popular ones.
What's the difference?
So the snowball method focuses on paying off the smallest debts first.
Okay.
To build momentum, create a sense of accomplishment.
So you get those quick wins.
Exactly. Those little wins keep you motivated.
Okay.
The avalanche method targets the debts with the highest interest rates first.
Okay, so that saves you money in the long run.
Exactly. It's a more strategic approach.
Okay, so it's about choosing the method that works best for you.
Yeah, for your personality, your financial situation.
Okay, and I guess along with tackling existing debt, we need to avoid new debt.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Well, it comes down to living within your means.
Yes.
Tracking your spending.
Budgeting, basically.
Yeah, budgeting and being mindful of those spending triggers.
Those things that make you want to whip out your credit card.
Exactly. Those impulse buys.
Okay, so it's about making conscious choices.
Conscious choices, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about battling financial myths, overcoming instant gratification, managing debt. But even if we're doing all the right things, sometimes life throws a curveball.
Right, those unexpected financial setbacks.
Those unexpected expenses, the emergencies that pop up.
The job loss, the medical emergency, the car breaking down.
Yeah, things you can't really plan for.
It can happen to anyone.
Right, and those setbacks can be really tough.
They can feel devastating.
You feel like you're back at square one.
Yeah, all your hard work, gone.
So how do we prepare for the unpredictable?
Well, Housel is a big proponent of having a solid emergency fund.
An emergency fund.
That financial cushion that helps you weather those storms.
So you're not panicking when something unexpected happens.
Exactly. You don't have to go into debt or raid your retirement savings.
Okay, so how much should we aim to have in this emergency fund?
A good rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses.
Okay, that seems like a lot.
It might seem daunting, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it gives you peace of mind.
Peace of mind, yeah, that's the key.
Okay, and what about insurance?
Insurance is also crucial. Health insurance, disability insurance, car insurance, homeowners, or renter's insurance.
All those things that protect you from those big financial hits.
Exactly. It's about managing those potential risks.
Okay, so we've got our emergency fund, we've got our insurance. But what about those behavioral biases we talked about earlier? Like those sneaky mental traps that can really sabotage our decisions?
Right, those pesky biases.
How do we deal with those in a practical way?
Well, as we said before, awareness is key.
Okay, so learn about them.
Yeah, educate yourself about common biases.
Okay, so maybe read up on behavioral economics.
Yeah, there are lots of good books and articles out there.
Okay, or take one of those quizzes online.
There are tons of those, yeah.
Or even just like talk to friends and family about those financial decisions you regret.
Yeah, those could be good learning experiences.
Learn from each other's mistakes.
Exactly.
Okay, so once we're aware of those biases, then what?
Then you can implement strategies to counteract them.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, let's go back to that anchoring bias.
The sale prices.
Yeah, the sale prices. So one strategy is to create a budget in advance.
Okay, a budget.
And stick to it.
So decide how much you're going to spend on certain things.
Yeah, groceries, entertainment, clothes.
And don't let those sales tempt you.
Exactly. Stick to your plan.
Okay, so it's about making those decisions in advance.
Yeah, when you're thinking clearly.
When you're not, like, in the store surrounded by all the tempting displays.
Exactly. It's about being proactive.
Okay, and what about seeking objective advice?
That's another good strategy.
So, like, talk to a financial advisor.
Yeah, financial advisor, a trusted friend.
Or just sleep on it.
Sleep on it. Yeah, let those emotions settle down.
That's a good one.
Having that outside perspective can be really helpful.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees,
Exactly. You need that fresh perspective.
Okay, and then, of course, there are the market swings.
Oh, yeah, those can be tough.
It's hard to stay calm when you see your investments going up and down.
It's a roller coaster.
It really is.
But Housel reminds us that volatility is normal.
Okay. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's part of the cycle.
Okay, so how do we ride those waves without getting wiped out?
Diversification is key.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Spread your investments across different asset classes.
Okay, to reduce risk.
To reduce risk, yeah.
Okay, and don't panic.
Don't panic. Stay the course.
Even when it's scary.
Even when it's scary. Remember your long-term strategy.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. The market tends to go up over time.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Yeah. And remember, diversification applies to other areas of your life too.
Like our income streams or skills?
Yeah, it's about building that overall stability.
So you're not vulnerable if one thing goes wrong.
Exactly. It's about having options and being prepared.
And I think this all comes back to that core message of the psychology of money.
What's that?
It's not just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding yourself.
Your psychology, your emotions, your biases.
Yeah, and your values.
Your values, how you relate to money.
And using that self-awareness to make really conscious decisions.
Intentional decisions, yeah.
That align with your goals.
And your vision for the future.
Yeah, it's about taking control of your finances.
Rather than letting your finances control you.
Exactly. It's about creating a life of financial freedom and fulfillment.
On your own terms.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one thing our listener can do today to start putting all this into practice?
I would say take some time to reflect on your own relationship with money.
Okay, like a little self-assessment.
Yeah, think about your earliest money memories.
Okay.
What messages did you receive about money growing up?
Okay, so how did your parents talk about money?
Exactly. And what are your current beliefs about money?
Okay, so what are your money scripts?
Yeah, what are those subconscious beliefs that are driving your decisions?
And then, what are your goals?
Your financial goals, both short-term and long-term.
Okay, so where do you want to go with your money?
Yeah, and what challenges are you facing?
So really, getting clear on your own personal money psychology.
Exactly. Once you understand that, you can make more conscious choices.
You can create a plan that really works for you.
And here's a final thought-provoking question for our listeners.
Okay, hit me with it.
If money were no object, what would your ideal life look like?
Okay, so dream big.
Dream big, yeah. What would you do with your time?
Okay, yeah. What kind of impact would you make on the world?
It's about connecting with your values, your aspirations.
Because once you know what truly matters,
you can align your financial decisions with that vision.
Use money as a tool to create the life you want.
And make a positive difference.
That's the real power of understanding the psychology of money.
It's not just about wealth. It's about alignment.
Aligning your finances with your values, your goals, your dream.
Creating a life of purpose, meaning, and abundance.
Well said. Well, thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive.
It's been fun.
It has. We hope you've gained some valuable insights.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the ideas that shape our world.
Until then, happy investing.
And remember, it's not just about the numbers. It's about the psychology.